What's up, everybody? It is Ebontis here. This is the last Twab before Witch Queen, so we're going to jump in live. It is a meaty one. It's about 5,000 words. I will try and timestamp this thing if possible. I know Gambit's going to be here. Obviously, that's the big one. Other than that, we've had the launch trailer this week. Savathun took over the Bungie Twitter account, or the Destiny Twitter account. And I think that's most of what we got so far. So this week at Bungie, we are but days away from the launch of the Witch Queen. We are finally here. The last Twab before the Witch Queen. Over the last few weeks, we've been touching on new systems arriving on February 22nd, picking through some quality of life changes for the rituals you engage with, and spending some time with the team in a full-length Vidoc. If you haven't seen the Vidoc, go watch it. To set the stage for what's coming. I did a full breakdown on it. It's on the channel. Go check that out too. We have a few topics left to cover, but only a few days stand between you and the next chapter of Destiny 2. Season of the Lost is wrapping up this week. No better way than a final mission to tee up with the expansion. Have you played through it yet? No? Well, get in there. We know the Witch Queen is coming, but this is a fun close to the season that you don't want to miss. As a note, the team has been investigating issues with the activity. If you have issues with the activity, try not to sprint too fast down the bridge. Try not to skip the cutscene, even though other people can skip it for you. There are some issues. You may need to play it a few times for the quest to complete, and we ask that if you're in matchmaking, please don't skip the cutscene. Outside of that, we have an exotic ship to cap off the season that we'll be distributing at a later date. People thought that was part of the final mission. Apparently it's not. Stay tuned for updates. If you completed the mission and are already reading the Twab, I'd assume you're gobbling up every bit of information you can before release. FYI. Spoilers, you know, if you're trying to dodge stuff, now is your time to dump out. Witch Queen trailer. Watch it. Cool stuff in there. Very excited to see what they do with Savathun's story. Looks like we actually almost go back to maybe get a cinematic for Fundament. Savathun, kind of where the origination of like the Hive Gods actually came from. Quite excited to see it. Truth be told, I've been replaying this trailer in my head for the last week. What does it all mean? Well, we'll find out next week when the expansion goes live. Legendary campaign. If you are going to do the campaign, remember that will drop that 15-20 set of blues that you can infuse in. Get a huge jump on your leveling. Talk about the glaive in here. It's actually cool to get a little more developer insights on the glaive. I'm excited to see how it feels. I'm still not sold on it completely until I get it in my hands, but so far every weapon Bungie has put in the game has felt good so far, so I have faith that they'll get it right again. It's always a pleasure to get the team out to talk about the beautiful creations. Said it before, but they really do make magic out of math. Multiple teams collaborating through conversation code and ridiculous amounts of talent to create a weapon and worlds that you enjoy in Destiny 2. For our final Twab before launch, let's have a few goodies in store. The team will be running us through upcoming changes and tuning for Gambit. Not a full, rebuild, but they are doing changes. We'll take a quick glance through patch notes. I knew that's why we were going to have a lengthy Twab. And an update for the Twitch emblem coming next week, and a fun SteelSeries partnership to talk about it. All right. Time for Gambit. Drifter's hungry. No, not for Hive, but for the spotlight. Well, maybe some Hive too. But let's focus on gameplay. As we continue to improve and iterate on the rituals of Destiny 2, Gambit is taking the center stage. This isn't a teardown and rebuilding of an existing mode, but a moment for our teams to realign on goals on how we're serving up the goods to our players. A few months back, the development team walked through our first ritual update, focused on Trials of Osiris. When you look at it, there weren't numerous changes, but the targeted piece of tuning and adjustments to push a healthier experience. Engram focusing, that's actually promising, and Trials ranks were introduced to help players earn that sweet piece of loot they've always wanted, even if they weren't winning many matches. Minor changes to passages and matchmaking were made to help players get more players into Trials. Freelance and Labs weekends continue as we gather valuable data to inform the future. I'm just going to say this now. Please put Freelance Trials in there for good. It's not going to be the ultra competitive mode everybody wants, and it gets more people to play it, so please, Freelance forever. Just saying. At the end of the day, Trials is still elimination, and Saint is still a badass. With Gambit, any mode we update in the future, you can still expect a similar approach. Let's see, we've got Alan Blaine, the principal designer for Gambit, will be joining us to break down our goals for Gambit. When we added Gambit back in Forsaken in the fall of 2018, was it really 3.5 years ago? We were closing the gap in Destiny pursuits. We had lots of places in the game to shoot aliens in the face, or juice box, depending on what you're shooting. And we had places where you could face off against other Guardians, but we had no place where you could face off against other Guardians by shooting aliens in the face. Fundamentally, Gambit is a PvE, poured firefight mode, something like that. Culmination in a race to kill the boss first. Meanwhile, you can throw small and large roadblocks in front of the other team, racing you, or be the roadblock by invading and powering up the load. Later that year, we added Gambit Prime, a souped-up Gambit with armor-based player roles, and then it really didn't change much for a couple years. With Beyond Light, we streamlined both versions into what Gambit is today, combining some of the best parts of the original Gambit and Prime without attempting to transform the mode. Ultimately, we believe it is important that in Gambit, you can showcase your skill at fighting in Destiny, and the variety of focus on your arsenal should be just as inherently fun as rewarding and shooting aliens in the face in Gambit as anywhere else. A good invader should be able to turn the tide of a match, but a good invader should be no more important than any other equally skilled team member. Good invader does not have to mean a PvP god loaded up with the best tracking one-hit kill weaponry. That's what they usually are with, though. Players defending against invaders should have ample tools to fight invaders without worrying about using up ammunition dealing with tougher enemies. And players should have methods for recovering from a devastating invade. Right now, you don't. Should be rare that a match is out of your hands as a player, or that an outcome is preordained early in the match. Right now, that happens a lot. Working together with your team to overcome tough enemies, the primeval, high-value target, or an invader should feel as gratifying as a hard Nightfall. Not even close to that right now. Okay, we're back. While we don't always hit those marks, probably more often than not, I would personally say, Gambit has a healthy and stable population. Really? I would love to see the numbers on that, because previously when people are showing percentages of time played, Gambit does not look that high. It's like 2% for me or something small. Ultimately, we want to make Gambit more appealing for a wider audience by addressing points of player feedback and improving upon what exists. Without changing the core nature of the mode, our hope is that this leads to more players engaging for longer. Upcoming changes fall into 5 categories: core activity, ammo economy, primeval tuning, invasions, and rewards. Invasions is the one that bugs me, because people can be like having their primeval, save enough invasion, still kicking your butt, and it's just like salt on an open wound. First one, freelance node. That's huge. We think it's important that players feel like they always have a chance at winning, and we see over and over again that full stacks of friends or clanmates have a significant advantage. Yeah, a little bit. The modes we have added, freelance, nodes, Iron Banner, Glory, Trials, all feel like they end up with more balanced matches more often, even as they increase and split the number of matchmaking pools. I agree. While it may split the pools, it's going to give solo players a chance, and if you're a stack, well, then you're going to go in there and stomp some people, probably. And apparently there's people, like somebody in my chat, who don't know that freelance nodes exist. Talking to you, Rook. Just saying. But yeah, freelance trials, freelance Iron Banner, freelance survival, those all exist. Use them if you're playing by yourself, please. And this coming up soon. We are investigating ways to remove the need for freelance nodes that split the population, and hope to have something for you later in this year. So they're literally looking to get rid of freelance nodes. Then you just need much better matchmaking that is very insanely weighted for teams versus solos. If it can do it in the background, fine, but right now it doesn't. In the meantime, queue for solo freelance should be available. Rotating seasonal selection of curated encounters in Season 16. What? In Classic Gambit/Prime, you got a randomly selected encounter from a list of 3 for each enemy race on each map. In Beyond Light, due to production issues, we were only able to bring 1 of the 3 variations forward into the new activity. These issues have been fixed, and now we're bringing the missing variations. I don't even know what variations they're talking about. We fight different races, generally. Seen Cabal, seen Fallen, seen Hive, and we have I'm trying to think, the big crazy boss with stages. I can't even think of the name right. The meatball. Everybody calls it the meatball. But outside of that, I don't know what's missing. Playing with the single variation or race map for a year led us to an interesting observation. It's fun to know that Hive on Pacifica means, oh god, those Shriekers. That's what they mean. Each map specifically is a certain race. I didn't actually pay attention to that because I don't play Gambit enough, so that tells you how much I played it. Maybe not interesting for an entire year, but we think it'll be interesting to have a set rotation of spawns for a season over those 3 months. Really master each encounter. So no more Shriekers on Pacifica for now, but they will be back later in the year. So apparently each map is going to have a set enemy type, so I guess you can expect it. Or if you know what enemy is coming, you know what map you're going to. It's probably how it's going to go, because usually the Drifter calls out, Hive, bring a sword! And you know you'll be going wherever Hive are. Respawn points added to all fronts. Sections of maps where enemies could cycle in or out. Can be frustrating to always have to run all the way from the backfield after spawning before you are able to help your teammates fight the invader, collect. That's actually a good thing. Respawn should be everywhere, because running from way in the back to try and get all the way to the opposite side of the map, especially in some of those big maps, it sucks. So that'll actually be a benefit to get back in the action faster, which is good. It can also be very frustrating as an invader to always spawn at the same location, on the same map, multiple times in a row, or to have the invader camp the entrance to avoid confrontation. More respawn points spread throughout fronts should help you get back in the action faster and provide less predictable spawn points during invasions. Should be interesting, I'll be curious, but a little variety there is good for both sides. Players always drop half the motes they were carrying when they are defeated. These can be picked back up by anyone, including invaders. Invaders can also drop more motes now. This makes recovering from a ruthless invader or bad luck fighting enemies a little easier. So you will drop half the motes. So if you're carrying 15, 7 are probably going to drop on the ground, and your teammates can pick those up. So if you stub your toe on a Cabal boss and you die and somebody else somehow kills them, your motes aren't completely wasted, which helps kind of normalize things if you do stub your toe on an enemy, because sometimes those Gambit enemies are like Grandmaster Nightfall bosses out of nowhere. Just catches me off guard. Players can be revived by their players 2 seconds earlier, and auto respawn is delayed by 2 seconds. We want to emphasize a reward of teamwork as much as possible. Solo is going to be an interesting piece behind that, but yeah, go res your teammates if you see them down. This change should also reduce the frustrating moments of teammates being forced to respawn as you're halfway through the revive interact. Yep. When your teammate dies and you run to grab their motes, stop for a second and revive them as well. That is incentive. They're there longer. If you can pick them up and their motes, incentive to run to your teammate. All shields have increasing resistance to non-matching damage types. Right now, most of your invaders are going to be, most of your blockers are going to be taken. So that's usually going to always be mostly solar shields for the knights that we've got, unless they change the blockers. While not as severe as match game and Nightfalls, we want to promote build crafting and teamwork. Yeah, most of the taken guys in the middle, it's mostly the solar shield on, I'm trying to remember, it used to be. Rules of Gambit node, that might have been old actually. Rules of Gambit node added to the launch screen, and numerous Gambit specific hints have been added. You still need a tutorial for new players. I don't know if they'll ever put that in, but here we go. Blockers, draining, and the bank. This is going to be just a massive Gambit twab, isn't it? While we didn't do any drastic adjustments here, we have a few tweaks we think will increase interesting decisions both when sending and battling blockers, and hopefully remove the feeling of helplessness as you pour ammo into 3 knights as all of your motes drain away. That is true, the knights just have a lot of health. 10 mote phalanx blocker has its health boosted a bit, which is good. While they are a good positional challenge with their shield and knockback, we felt like they weren't tough enough for their mote cost compared to the knight, so increase their health. Makes sense because it was pretty weak. 15 mote knight gains a stasis attack. That's going to be fun. We originally planned to pull its health down some as we felt it was a bit too beefy for 15 motes, but with the ammo changes below, we didn't find the current health onerous in playtesting. We did think they could be more tactically interesting with a stasis attack without necessarily making them more deadly or harder to kill. So they'll slow you down if you get up there. It's interesting. Mote drain from multiple blockers continues even if the opposing team is in Primeval Fight. What? This will help the team that is behind get to the Primeval a little quicker. It never felt great to send over 4 blockers only to have the enemy team ignore them all while being severely behind. That doesn't make any sense. Mote drain from multiple blockers, so you get multiple blockers, you start losing your collected motes. That will continue even if the opposing team is in its Primeval phase. I'm reading that wrong or something just doesn't make sense. This will help the team that is behind get to the Primeval a little quicker. It's never felt great to send over 4 blockers only to have the enemy team ignore them, all while still being severely behind. Yeah, you can send over 4 blockers, but if they're in their Primeval phase. So if the drain and they're in the Primeval phase, is that just going to feed the Primeval health? Is that what that would do in theory? It's the only way that makes sense in my head. This also gives the team in the lead a bit more incentive to kill blockers during their Primeval phase. Yeah, it sounds like if you send 4 blockers and they're in their Primeval phase, the only thing I can imagine that it's doing is just giving that Primeval health. Yeah, there's no motes at that phase to lose, so it's got to be giving the Primeval health on the other side. So, theoretically, if you can dump a lot of blockers, you can, get the health of the Primeval back up without even invading, which could slow them down, theoretically. Mote drain is paused if a player is near the bank and engaging blockers. Never feels great to have your motes draining away while you pour primary ammo into 3 taken knights. Fair. So if you are near the bank and engaging blockers, then theoretically it will pause for a bit. What's up, Chronologic? How you doing? Ammo economy. Our goal for these changes are to make more predictable and equal baseline of special and heavy ammo among players. We'll be watching feedback. When completing a front, a chest containing a small amount of special and heavy ammo spawns in the middle of the front and can be looted once by each player. Times out 20 seconds after the initial interact, so you still can't dilly-dally. Killing a high-value target spawns 1 normal heavy brick. See, this is something they used to do in Destiny 1. You could kill... I don't know if it would be technically an elite, not a boss, but you could kill an elite and always get a heavy brick, so it was a very reliable way to get ammo. But it still didn't work great sometimes because we had ammo synthesis, but still, having a reliable way to get heavy ammo is actually quite nice. During the Primeval phase, ammo chests spawn in one of the fronts every 60 seconds. This replaces the regular front ammo chest, but you'll still need to find the time to grab it. So it's not going to be right next to the boss, which is always a pain in the butt to go get. It'll be spread around a little bit more, so it's accessible, but you got to go run off and grab it. Limited special and heavy ammo bricks to only spawn from enemies if you have Finder mods equipped. Other exotics and perks like Aeon Cult still work. So ammo finder bricks. So they're only going to spawn from enemies if you have ammo finder mods equipped. And aren't ammo finder mods on the helm? And if we want to make orbs, it's going to be on the helm. So this is going to be even more of like a debate in how you get orbs or heavy ammo. The orb generation on the helm is still something I've got to see in action because I still don't love that that's what it is. Primeval Fight. This is the ultimate challenge of Gambit. Should feel like an epic boss fight and be long enough for the opposing team to get off some invades to counter strong DPS. It should have more to do than simply burning the boss as quickly as possible and turn in place, kill the envoys every once in a while. Its mechanics shouldn't be complex, but should require just as much tactical play as a high-end strike boss. Yeah, a little more than just look at it and melt it. Primeval Health and Slayer stack bonus returned. Burning the boss after 3 rounds of envoys should be just as easy as it is now, but burning him after just 1 or 2 rounds should be significantly more work. That's good. Hopefully people can't spawn it and nuke it in about 10 seconds. Envoys now spawn with friends out in the fronts rather than in the bank. Oh, okay, so they move the envoys, so it's not just focus on the middle. They're going to make you go out on one of the different sections of the map to be able to go find the envoys, which are worth killing because you get more damage bonus. So you're going to need to kind of rotate around a little bit more. They have reduced health and are no longer affected by Slayer stacks and have varied elemental shields. Killing the envoys to get Slayer stacks will require movement, dealing with the envoys' protectors, and dealing with their elemental shield. Envoys put an invulnerability shield on the Primeval. You must kill them both to remove it and damage the Primeval, forcing your enemies. So you can't actually nuke it depending on if they are up. So that is actually going to really kind of change the pace of that fight. Envoys respawn at 30% of the Primeval damage done. This increases by 10% every envoy respawn, and envoys stop spawning after the 5th spawn. Interesting. Primeval Servitor boss is removed. Interesting. Since its custom shielding mechanics conflicted with the new mechanics, the Malfeasance quest starts on the first Primeval kill, so it's just pretty much straightforward. Yeah, so that one sounds like more Gambit Prime, with the envoys in different places, different shields, couple of blockers, gotta kill those so you can do damage to the main guy in the middle. That sounds more like Gambit Prime. A lot, actually. So that, yeah, the envoys are mostly like Gambit Prime. Gotta kill the envoys to be able to do damage to the Primeval. Envoys are in different locations around the map, so you're gonna have to find them, hunt them down, and kill them. Envoys respawn at 30% of the Primeval damage done, so you're gonna get probably 2 or 3 sets of them. Invasions. This is the one I'm probably the most curious about. As we said above, a good invader should be able to turn the tide of a match, but a good invader should be no more important than any other equally skilled team member. We don't want a single good invader to completely dominate each match outcome. They can be very powerful though, and they certainly can right now. However, we still want a good invader to be able to delay a strong PvE team and focus from finishing off the Primeval. Level advantage is now disabled for invader PvP. Good. That always seemed weird. It seemed like this should definitely be a normalized mode. It's actually been like that since the start of Beyond Light. Surprise. Seriously, just gonna keep that one for a year? Alright. One of the moat phase invasions has been removed. Invasions now trigger at 40 and 80. Primeval phase invasions are unchanged. Invasions can no longer be saved up. Use it or lose it. Thank you. That's probably the most important line for me right here. You use it or you lose it. So you can't save up multiple. I'm hoping once you spawn, Invader can no longer see how many moats enemy players are characting, and player nameplates fade out when the Invader is aiming down sights. Interesting. That's, you know, that's actually not a bad way to do it, because if you ADS, Hipfire just got fun, but if you ADS, you can see the players, but you can't see all the nameplates and everybody else. But then if you zoom back out and you need to find them, you can't. I never actually thought of a good way to do it, and that's actually kind of an interesting way too. You can see players through walls, just not while you're engaged in rocket tracking or using sniper zoom. I kind of like that. That's kind of a middle ground, so the invader still has some power, but loses a little in ADS. That's interesting. Invasions can no longer be saved up, though. That I like. Hopefully when you get to the invader, we found a bug with how the Primeval heal effect was being applied, which, depending on the sequence of timing of kills, would heal the Primeval somewhere between 5 and 35%. We fixed it. And now invader kills heal the Primeval for exactly 27% every time. This sounds like a lot, but it's actually less than the optimal amount prior. We'll be watching feedback, so it's a decent chunk on kill, which is good. So if you get like 4 kills, theoretically, you can get a full heal, which is kind of the goal there, depending on how much damage they're doing. I do want to see how this feels. This feels better. Less invasions. They trigger later too, because the 40 is later in the match as well. Can't save them up, which is good. The zoom also makes it interesting, so you theoretically could move around. I kind of like it. Let's see, rewards, which we kind of expected. This is going to look exactly like Trials of Osiris. Gambit ranks, probably engrams. Focus your engrams into the gear, and that's mostly what you're going to go for. That seems to make some sense. Most of that's the gear. You got Trinary System, Bottom Dollar, Servant Leader. I do not remember the name of the SMG. And you oddly in here have like what looks like Gambit Armor, no class item, which is probably fair, and then a random Beyond Light. It's like almost a random mix, but the Beyond Light grenade launcher is weird there. Maybe it's just a placeholder. Gambit is the second of the core rituals after Trials of Osiris to get a comprehensive engram focusing option. Focusing. You can focus the Gambit engram into either Gambit Armor or Gambit Weapons for 10,000 Glimmer and 50 Legendary Shards. Gambit Weapons include Crowd Pleaser, Bottom Dollar, Trinary, Borrowed Time's the SMG. So Crowd Pleasers. That's the grenade launcher, huh? Interesting. Brand new Gambit Weapons are drop only for a single season and then are available for focusing. Fair. We are expecting to expand Drifter's focusing options further in the coming seasons. I'll be curious what to do with that. Other Drifter changes. Bygones, Trust, and Bad Omens have been removed from the vendor. So, old weapons, bye-bye. End match drops. There is a Gambit Memento for weapon crafting that can drop after any match. Older Gambit shaders now have a small chance of dropping after the end of each match. Primeval Servitor cosmetic drops can now drop at the end of any match. The Furtive Shell can now drop at the end of any match. So you get some drops. Basically, it's just going to be Gambit focusing. Works the same way Trials does. You can expect more rituals to get the treatment throughout the year, but we do not currently have any specific dates to share, so stay tuned. The future in Gambit Labs. Really, they're experimenting. There are a few things eagle-eyed readers might notice are missing from above. Don't fret, we have a timeline for future changes. The daily Gambit bounty objectives are generally fine, but some of the repeatable bounties have some onerous completion requirements. We are taking a pass on those, and they won't come all at once. Sometime this season, we'll be adjusting the completion amounts of most Gambit repeatable bounties. Weapon kills from 25 to 15, melee and grenade kills from 25 to 5, thank God. Super kills from 15 to 10. In Season 17, we will be making additional tuning changes as well as adding 3 new bounties. Throughout the year, we will also be adding bounties specific to Light 3.0 updates, so they're going to lean Void heavy on this first one. Gambit Labs. This is going to be interesting. We have a couple Gambit Labs that will play with some of the core invasion concepts. These will run for 1 week and will take over the base Gambit modes. Invasion Swap. You can imagine this is going to be when your bonus Infamy is going to be live as well. This Labs variation plays around with who gets the benefit from triggered invasions. During the moat phase, instead of opening your own invasion portal at 40 and 80, you instead open your opponent's invasion portal. And that's interesting. We expect this to completely disrupt the accepted meta for how and when to deposit and invade, and we're looking forward to seeing the clever. That is actually interesting. That's going to mess with people, because you could stock up 60, and theoretically, they could never invade you, so just don't die. And then you dump 60 all at once, and theoretically, then they could invade. That could be fun. It's definitely going to throw some things off, but I like the idea of just switching things up every so often. I wish some of these would be more frequent, because we'll see Gambit Labs I saw twice in this entire season, but hopefully we see it more. Moat Thief. Fundamentally, the original concept of the invader was guardian as taken terror. Overpowered and dangerous. Something new to have to fight. While that is very compelling, we don't believe it is the only compelling invader fantasy. We believe the sneaky Moat Thief is worth exploring too. Maybe there are more. Normal moat drain from having 2 blockers is disabled. Instead, every second the invader is invading, 1 moat drains directly from your bank to the invader's bank. Oh! So if you invade and stay out, so at that point you just want to be a hunter, run around and be invisible the entire time, pull 30 moats from their bank to yours, and literally just like flip the script. Those are both, I honestly hope they do these frequently, because these actually sound like things that will make Gambit kind of fun and interesting. Especially this one, but the invasion swap is like, you can control when anybody gets to invade you, because when you dump all 60, 40 opens up. If you can manage to kill the invader, then theoretically you would try and gather up the rest of them. And if they have an invader, then 3 could go gather 45, and you can go straight to the Primeval. So you can kind of control it, but there's also going to be some huge dumps of like, here's 60 moats, and then you send a bunch of blockers, but you also just gave them an invasion portal. But the Moat Thief sounds like, this sounds terrifying. That's just going to be good luck finding the invisible hunter. That's like the best thing they could probably do. What about Trials? What's next? Fear not, Trials fans. While our main focus for Season 16 is Gambit, we still have some fun changes planned. As discussed earlier this season, we're going to continue to liberally schedule Capture Zone and Freelance weekends, as well as Reputation updates coming. For Season 16, we are moving to a schedule of 7 maps for the season, one of which you will get to decide. Expect a survey to come out in the next few weeks and to vote on the final map. We also have some Adept reward changes coming to Season 17. We'll preview those later in the season, so not too much changes, but they do have the Freelance and Capture Zone still going. Freelance is fun. I'm glad to see that. I just wish I could see that on a continuous basis. But they said liberally scheduling, so they should be rotating through, hopefully, frequently. What's next, you might ask? We're still ironing out the details, so we don't have anything to share today. Not even a lore drop. However, we are planning to make the next 4 seasons of Banner seasons a banner year for rituals, and we hope Season 17 plans will spark joy for everyone. Good to know. We hope all see Season 17. That's where, if you got joy for everyone, this is where you might hope for Crucible changes. If they can make competitive like a ladder system or something insane like that, you're going to get a lot of happy people. I don't know if it can come that fast, but Season 17, if it's Crucible focused, would be huge. We hope all Guardians that love or fear Gambit mode will give it another try once more. We've really enjoyed playing with. Final patch notes. Here we go. Quick roundup of patch notes for next Tuesday. Think of this as a kitchen sink of patch notes. A little bit of everything. Starting with the Witch Queen, Ritual playlist rewards will be updated to grant Ritual-specific gear, weapons, mods, armor, and no longer be granting rewards from the general loot pool. Okay, so that narrows down what you're going to get from Strikes, Crucible, Gambit. You're going to get less varied loot, so you get more drops that are not world loot pool. Crucible will grant Crucible, Vanguard, Gambit. That's kind of what we just said. Engram focusing is currently only available on Saint 14 and the Drifter for their ritual-specific engrams. World engrams will continue to be granted at major ranks on ritual vendors, just for a little variety. So your focusing is some, but from the end of the world drops, that's not bad. Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard rituals are receiving updated armor rewards for a new expansion, so we get kind of one new armor looking set. These share the same base appearance, but have slight differences. So this is basically your new set for Titans, Warlocks, and Hunters. And then the difference is mostly going to be cosmetic, but the shape of the armor, this base set, it honestly looks like the sleekest, like tightest, like pants and everything, the most minimalistic I've seen in a while. Not bad looking, I just don't ever really love these color schemes. It's just very minimalistic, very clean if you're going for that. Returning Crucible maps. Eternity and Vostok return to the Crucible. So we are getting 2 Crucible maps back with the season. Ooh, that looks really cool. Eververse. No changes. Wait, seriously? Yeah, there are no systematic changes to Eververse, but there will be new cosmetic items available for Silver and Bright Dust, but no systematic changes. What about Bright Dust? Any changes to how much players will be earning? There are no changes to Bright Dust acquisition or totals compared to that of Season 15. Players will continue to earn Bright Dust from seasonal challenges, repeatable bounties on specific vendors, and through the Season Pass. Please note, this week brings the final drop of 700 Bright Dust. If you haven't logged in, make sure you log in and at least pick up your free 700 Bright Dust. It's just like, go look at the store, bottom right-hand corner, free Bright Dust. It's there. This looks badass, by the way. You got the blades, the helm. All of these are sick. I approve of all three. The Zavala style shoulder blade of Void. The like really clean line on the Titan Glow. What are these? Pictured new universal armor ornament sets available through Eververse. Yeah, I'm gonna want all of these. Those are actually kind of tight. This is awesome. Those are good. Season Pass changes. High stat seasonal armor has been reintroduced. Hello. I'm glad to see that come back because for one player, for one person's character, it's nice to see that back. So individual pieces, you're going to get like a base set. It's going to be like 48 to 50, but you get like anywhere between like 63 to like 66 or 67 stats. Now, it may be like focused in a different direction, but the fact that you get a high stat set of armor just by going through the season pass, that's just nice for people who don't get to grind that often. So I'm glad to see that's back. I never really put it to use per se, but it's still nice to have. Because sometimes one of those could be like just the right stat roll you're looking for. Legendary Engrams have been replaced with focused Umbral Engrams. In 5, each focus to a different piece. Arms, legs, chest, head, class. All Umbral Engrams are tier 2. Tier 2 as in like energy level 2? Or are we talking about... Are these going to be like... They say tier 2. I'm thinking like powerful Engram tier 2, like a +4. Theoretically could be good, but also in turn, I also picture that just being 2 energy, so I'm not sure which. Tier 2 sounds weird. Tier, the only place we see tier 2 and tier 1 is literally in the game when it says powerful Engram tier 1. But if it's just going to be like another tier of energy, it's just going to be like you're starting with 2 energy instead of 1 energy on the armor. It's just like saving you a shard or something. Season Pass emblem has been removed, but we've introduced a Season Pass Sparrow. I like that. More cosmetics that you get by playing. Season Pass Scrounger bonus. Bonuses which increase seasonal weapon armor have been overhauled. Good, because those seemed useless the whole time anyway. Weapon Scrounger bonuses are no longer separated by weapon type or ritual activity. They now apply to both Season Pass legendary weapons and all activities at once. Thank you, because it was really annoying to get Gambit and Crucible and Vanguard and drops and here and that and the other. 2 Weapon Scrounger bounties and bonuses instead of 6. First bonus grants the player a small chance to receive the weapons from ritual activities. Second gives an improved chance. The total drop chance is unchanged. So the drop chance is the same, but now you have 2 instead of 6 of these things. So what else is going to take it up? Armor, 1 armor scrounger bonus instead of 3. Same thing. The drop chance is unchanged. I'm glad they didn't change it, and that means there's more space for other stuff in the pass. Aside from the emblem, no items have been removed from the season pass, only added. A number of rewards such as Glimmer, Legendary Shards have been consolidated to make room for high stat armor. Good. A small amount of upgrade modules have been added. Nice as you level up. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. The orders some rewards are acquired has been tuned to accommodate from the above changes. The Thrallway. If you don't have any catalysts on, you need to go do them right now. Or go to Surochi, but either way. Fixed an issue where the Shadow Thrall and Shadowed Throne were unintentionally granting investment rewards such as Glimmer, Engrams, and XP. Goodbye level 9,000 on the Season Pass. As players begin to craft weapons and level up their Season Pass, we wanted to ensure gameplay rewards are earned by playing and completing activities, bounties, or hanging out with friends and patrols, such as defeating minions of the darkness. You are not going to be leveling up your crafting weapons in the Thrallway, and honestly, I'm okay with this because I don't want that to be the optimal way to do it. I'm actually happy about that because going in there is ultra boring, and if that's going to be the efficient way to do weapon crafting, then thank God I don't have to tell everybody, go to the Thrallway and shoot stuff in the face for a while. Don't have to do that. Boss Stomps. Adjusted the physics knockback for Boss Stomps. This should result in fewer deaths from being knocked into objects. Good. Next week, we'll have a full roundup of patch notes available for you to read through. Time is currently TBD, but our goal is to give you some light before reading, so I'm probably going to have to get up early and read the patch notes anyway. RIP the Thrallway, though. Seriously, pour one out, man. I don't know if anybody has a good picture of the Thrallway, but if you can tag me on Twitter or Discord, that is going to be the thumbnail. Long live the Queen's Twitch. Ooh, I like that one. Back when the 30th anniversary pick went live, we introduced a new Twitch sub bounty for an emblem. It's been wonder seeing so many Dressigist, I can't even say that word, emblems and post-game credit reports. Don't know what Twitch bounty is? Head over here for all the details. Basically, if somebody like me is streaming Destiny, and I have the Destiny extension active, and you gift 2 subs to that channel, to any of the viewers, then you will get the bounty listed right here. So if you guys are coming in, and it should be live, we felt it would be a fun time to introduce the new emblem with the launch of Witch Queen. So literally, when Witch Queen goes live, completing the Twitch sub bounty reward players the Long Live the Queen emblem. I like it too. It's not a bad looking one. Kind of unique. This can be collected from a hand. Manda Holiday in the armor. So yeah, if you've been thinking about gifting a sub or you want the emblem, that's how you're going to do it. Go find your favorite Twitch streamer. Be nice if it's me, but if it's not anybody you want to support, totally fine. Gift 2 subs to the channel so some people have some fun emotes to mess with and you get a cool bounty or you get a cool emote. Get out of my swamp. Release schedule. I've covered this multiple times. It's actually 15 minutes sooner. Destiny 2 is brought offline at 6:45 p.m. Pacific on February 21st. So 14 hours and 15 minutes now before Witch Queen launches, servers go down. At 7 p.m., the preload for update will be available. So that's actually sooner. Destiny 2 will be brought back online. Update will be playable on all platforms the next morning. So the preload is actually 2 hours sooner. So that's actually changed a little bit from my video. But that's better because even if you're on the East Coast, your preload can start at 10 o'clock. So if you're on PlayStation, they mentioned PlayStation compatibility packs on PlayStation 4. Make sure you start the pre-download and then make sure once you get up first thing, try and boot up Destiny so you actually initiate the compatibility packs. Right here. Required to download all associated required content before playing the Witch Queen. These can be downloaded by launching Destiny 2 after the patch is released. After the downloads have started, you can safely close the game and the required content will upgrade. Seems like everything should be there, but basically before like 9 o'clock booting it up, try and boot up your game like if you get up for breakfast or something. Make sure everything's working. That's all I'll say. Exorcism. We had some issues with the season finale. Here are some updates to investigators surrounding issues. Progression can be blocked if moving too quickly on the bridge. Don't full beeline across the bridge. Like, take a second or two, pause, smell the roses, shoot a thrall, then move on. Double back if blocked. Don't skip the final cutscene. For anybody else who's playing it, I know it's a cool cutscene. Go grab a sip of water. Go to the bathroom. Just don't skip it. We have disabled the option to join this activity in progress because that was probably breaking things too. They've updated the mod rotation from the Wayfinder's Compass inventory from a weekly to a 2-day rotation. So between now and the end of Witch Queen, if you need to get the mods from the Wayfinder's Compass, go buy them. I think they're going to lean into Elemental Wells as kind of one of the better mod loadout builds that you're going to be able to have, so probably a good thing. If you haven't done any Bungie rewards, I actually just bought my Strange Coin because it actually works with the Collector's Edition. Twitch gift sub bounty rewards, those will end, and then you're going to be able to get the new one. So if you want to gift the current emblem, gift 2 subs now. Want to get the new emblem, gift them once Witch Queen goes live. Weapon cycling, year 4 content vaulting. Basically, everything's leaving from last year. With the launch of the Witch Queen on February 22nd, certain activities, quests, destinations, items, weapons from the past season and expansions will become unavailable and to access and earn. If you want to look at a full list, mostly all gone. Known issues. Couple random things. Hunter Virtuous Cloak appears rigid when worn. Hunter's Tempest Strike melee shockwaves can't pass through doorways. Seems like it's working as intended, but I guess that's probably okay. Somebody made a cool trailer. JoJo's Destiny Adventure. Cool art. That's Savathun holding the worm. That is definitely some hell of a work on cross-stitch. Is that a 3D rendered stag helm? Damn, that's legit. Shout out to that one. Soon. I was just thinking the other day, many of us have been here for nearly 16 seasons of Destiny 2. And even more of that space magic goodness if you turn back the clock to Destiny 1. Even so, after so much time, the feeling of Destiny release is like no other. The promise of new loot always drives some excitement, but it's the wonder and mystery of all that is truly resonates. Moments of discovery are potent. Sometimes it's easier to recite the first encounter with a crazy boss, or the moment a god roll dropped into your hands. Then it is to remember a sibling's birthday. Yeah, if you get the Galahorn on the crazy thing, yeah, if I ever actually get a Vex, we'll see. We're excited to hear about your upcoming journey through the campaign. Excited to watch you as you craft your first weapons. Can't wait to hear people scream in terror while attempting to revive a teammate during a legendary mission. That's going to be interesting. Just a few more days left, and it will all be in your hands. Thanks for playing, and cheers to becoming the best communities on the planet. Thank you, DMG. So that is a wrap on the TWAB. Gambit is going to feel very different. We're going to have Gambit Labs, Ritual Rituals are going to feel mostly about the same, but we get like a little more focus inside the rituals. And RIP the Thrallway. Thank God, because that was going to mess with weapon crafting. So I'm actually happy that that thing's not helpful anymore. So bonus. If you have any catalysts you need to do, you could probably still do those, but you're not going to get weapon crafting progress or leveling progress. So for this episode of Ebontis Reading the Twab, thank you guys very much. Witch Queen launches on Tuesday. I will be live on Twitch when everything goes live, so come hang out with me. Hopefully I can actually log into servers as well, because that's going to be fun. There's 1 million pre-orders on this game, so even if it's like 333,000 on each platform, servers are going to struggle, so be patient and get some sleep the night before. Sleep in as much as you can, depending on where you are at around the world, and I will see you guys for Witch Queen. Expect a lot of videos coming from me for weapon crafting guides, solo legendary campaign missions, all of that stuff you know is going to be coming as quickly as I can literally upload it. So, if you enjoyed this one, drop a like below, leave a comment if there's anything you're excited or sad about. If you guys want to find me on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Ebontis. Follow me over there, turn the alerts on so you know when I'm streaming. It's Destiny usually, but a little bit of variety. Right here on YouTube, if you are not subbed yet, which like 75% of you aren't, hit that sub button. It's a nice way to support me for nothing. Hit the alert bell if you want to see my new guides and if you want to support me directly. And to thank you all, any of my Patreons and channel members, thank you very much for the support. Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.